Dave, can you promote Oliver Collins from attend? Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. This is Sanjay Mishra from City of Pinole, the new Public Works Director and City Engineer. I believe we have a quorum. Order and start the proceedings. Dave, can you hear me?
Yes, you're ready to begin broadcasting.
Yes, I would just like to call the meeting to order and request the members because we do have a quorum. We're just missing one member, but we do have a quorum to start the meeting.
Yes, we don't have staff to run your roll call for you. If you can do that
Yeah.
from your side, go right ahead.
I will do that, yes. Ben Doyle,
Present.
Ken Moriarty,
I'm here.
Oliver Collins,
Here.
Faith Dunham. Don't see her. Oh, she just joined. Dave, can you please promote him from the attendees? Thank you.
I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello.
Okay, thank you all. We're starting this TAPS meeting after a long time. I would go ahead and start this meeting. And item 1 is the pledge of allegiance. Would a committee member bring us through this?
I'm sorry, what did you ask?
I said, would a committee member lead us with the pledge of allegiance?
Oh, okay. You just want someone to start the pledge? I'll start the
Yes.
pledge.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 2, roll call. We did the roll call. The appointed committee members, all of are present. I'll introduce myself. I'm Sanjay Mishra. I'm the new Public Works Director and City Engineer for City of Pinole. Unfortunately, Misha Kaur could not join us today. She had to go for a dental appointment, and right now she's under a root canal surgery. She's supposed to have attended today's meeting. That concludes item number 2. We'll move forward to item number 3. Item number 3 is citizens to be heard for items not on the agenda. Anybody in the public would like to address the committee? Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. I do see a hands up in the attendees. I do see 2 hands up. Phone number ending 5748. Are you able to unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah, I had 3 questions, concerns with issues in Pinole. My name's Anthony. I'm a senior citizen living in Pinole for over 45 years. And I just wanted to ask, do you have some kind of a replacement policy or protocol regarding down property, like down light poles and ramp barriers? Because I noticed that it's been an ongoing problem off and on with the street lantern lights up and down Pinole Valley Road, specifically that was part of the build out with that Pinole Valley Shopping Center in front of Trader Joe's out to the 11. There's about a dozen, or up and down Pinole Valley Road, all the way down to Sprout. There's a dozen green lantern street light poles in the medial strip. And recently, over the last few years, and more recently over the last few months, it seems like one after another, every month or every other month, somebody whacks one of those poles and they either damage it or they take the whole thing down. And right now there are 2 or 3 empty spots that have cones on them, and they've been like that for several months now. And sometimes they can get them fixed in 3 or 4 months. Sometimes it goes 6 months, but by the time they fix one, there's another one. So there needs to be some improved traffic flow system going on the ingress and egress going in and out of that shopping center, because they're happening left and right in front of the Mod's pizza parlor, and they smashed into the Mod's utility box and almost crashed into some people there in front of Mod's with that accident that took down one pole. And then right now there's 2 or 3 poles missing on that strip between right in to the left and to the right of Mod's Pizza on Pinole Valley Road. And then there's no lights there. So there's another problem going out Pinole Valley Road. There's no decent overhead street lighting, not just that, but all the way from CMS down to Ramada by the library. There's no overhead street lights on one side of the street, and it's totally dark. And then the other question related to that is, like on that bridge over the Appian Way I-80 crossing right there, somebody knocked out that bridge barrier wall on Appian Way going from Tara Hillside to Fitzgerald. And there's a big hole there, a gaping hole that's been, the pillar wall's been knocked out for about, I don't know, maybe a year or more. And it's like two big sections, about 20, 30 feet. And it looks like all they did was put up an aluminum crossbar barrier so kids don't fall through down onto the freeway or people don't jump off it or something. So that needs to be patched.
Sir, you have 30 more seconds. Can you just wrap it up, please? Thank you. Can the next attendee, Harma Rupert? Oh, no, sorry, I think, okay. Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'm so glad to see the tax committee back. We have a lot of projects going on in the area and the community, and it is so wonderful to see you guys back. It really is. And Mr. Mishra, I really appreciate the fact that I hope that we continue meetings. The community is having a lot of traffic issues. And I hope that the committee will be involved in some of these bigger projects that are having transportation issues. For example, Doctors Hospital. I live in Marlesta, Marianola Way, Appian Way area. Also the Kmart project, all the projects that involve traffic and pedestrian. It's so important for this committee to come back and have input in these projects. So that's all I want to say, Mr. Sanjay, and thank you very much for this committee. It is so important. I used to be a member of Economic Development and Affordable Housing. I was part of the Public Safety Committee when there were 2 murders in the city, and I was appointed. It is so important, these committees, to have input. We don't have a whole community coming in like we did with the Public Safety Committee. Over 200 people come in and give a lot of input about what they wanted to see, a survey. They were so involved because it was so critical. Today, it's critical. We have a lot of issues. So, Mr. Sanjay, I spoke to you a couple of months ago, and I just want you to know that I am so glad to hear that you're both very motivated and looking forward. And I hope to meet you too in my neighborhood because of the road situation. You come to my neighborhood, and I will invite you with another neighbor who's been here over 50 years. I've lived here over 40 years. But all in all, I love the committee. I've been there in past meetings, and you are very, very critical in the movement of the city of Pinole on its safety and traffic and pedestrian. So, sir, I hope you and the committee, if anything, let's move forward and send a message to the community. We're here, and we're here to improve the situation and help everybody for safety reasons. And thank you, sir, and nice to see you guys, Canton Bay.
Thank you. Thank you. And we have the next participant.
Yes, Sanjay. Sanjay, may I speak?
Yes, please. There is a feedback from your side. Do you have to?
iPad plus a phone to use.
Okay, now you sound perfect.
What should I use, the phone or the screen mic?
Whatever you are using now, we don't get feedback, and this is fine. Please go ahead.
My name is Joel Keekley, and I live at Pinole Grove Senior Housing, and my topic of great significance concerns the dangerous intersection at the corner of Rafaela Street and Pinole Valley Road due to frequent sight line blockage on Pinole
Joel.
Valley Road. Yes.
So this item actually, you can say during the traffic concerns to be brought to the committee, the citizens, we have that for you. If right now we're actually doing item that is not in the agenda.
Okay, so I just sometime between now and 9 o'clock, I will have the opportunity to state my case and present.
Yes.
Okay. Will I
Yes.
just be looking at my screen, which has that blue circle on it? And that is sufficient. I don't need, or should I be talking through my phone also, or just one or the other?
Just only one, but yes, just only
Okay.
one.
Okay, well, I'll wait until 9 and hope I get squeezed in, and thank you for your help.
No problem. We will.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're muted.
Mr. Mishra, I think you're,
Yes, thank you. Moving on to the next item, item number 4, the bylaws for this TAPS committee. I believe some of the committee members have requested and wanted to discuss about the meeting time. What time?
before we do that, Mr. Mishra, I know we're not, the citizens to be heard, we can't make any decisions based on what they said because they're not agendized, but could we? Response from the members of the.
Yes, you could respond to them or city staff could respond to them in email later. Yes,
But can we respond to them now during the meeting? I think that
yes,
that's traditionally how we do it. When people show up, something to say, at least they maybe the response from the members of the committee.
yes, you could respond.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to, well, first I hope that we can make these live because this is it's a little bit clumsy, but I understand how we have to start out with just the Anthony said, I didn't quite follow. Trans, whoever that falls to, can. And to respond to hospital development and the Kmart development. Those developments are both adding trips per day. The Kmart all brought up about the sight lines, the limited sight line at Raphael and Pinole Valley Road, brought up by members of that community. A red stripe, and there was something very minimal done, but so I appreciate that being brought up again. So I didn't really understand why he didn't get to bring it up.
That I have the emails from Joel, so I have put that under the traffic. I believe this is item number 5. Traffic issues brought by citizens. We'll be talking there. So that is, it is not a separate item. There are several items that have been brought by various citizens to my attention, and I will just go through those items during that. And one of those is Raphael Street and Pinole Valley Road.
Those just weren't listed on the agenda.
Because I get this so many emails, so I didn't have everything to list. So I just had a one broad item, and I'm going to just bring all those emails I have received from the citizens.
Okay, I guess if they were, we would have had a chance to look at them ahead of time. If they weren't really,
Okay. Okay, understood. Maybe in future I will I'll write those at least locations where the requests are.
yeah. So
Okay.
that's all I had as far as my response to the citizens.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you for that response. I can actually respond a little bit to Anthony's comments regarding those green lanterns on Pinole Valley Road. And I am aware of that median is really very tight, and we have several knockdowns over the last few months. And that actually comes under the landscape and lighting district, zone A and zone B. That was has been formed, I think, 2012 or sometime. That is what my understanding of the lighting district. And the city goes after those insurance for those people who knock them down if we get hold of them and try to replace them. But those lights are actually very expensive, and the city tries to, recoup as much of the cost as possible and try to. And those of procurement for those are also a long lead item. We can discuss that further in a different time.
Sanjay, this is Dave Snell. After a timer comes up, you'll need to reshare your screen if you want that to be broadcast.
I see. So, okay. So my screen is not sharing right now?
No, if you wanted to start sharing again,
Okay.
that would be helpful.
Okay, thank you. Okay, are you able to see my screen? Okay, thank you. So moving on to item number 4, the bylaws. And in a few emails, some of the committee members have requested that the meeting time, the frequency and format needs to be discussed. And if the committee members would like to move with that discussion, what time and frequency and the format of this TAPS meeting should happen going forward, please go ahead and start that discussion. If you needed a recommendation from me, the city staff time is kind of a tight. We would love to have this meeting a little early, and also once in 2 months rather than every month. And going forward, we are able to do in person also because the city hall is now ready, and we can do hybrid format, meaning if some members wanted to come in person and some wanted to do online, it is possible to do it, and city hall is ready for that hybrid format. The second, go ahead, please.
Hi, it's Oliver Collins. Thank you for bringing this up and as an opportunity. I am also available earlier, and Wednesdays are fine. I think before we were on Tuesdays, but anytime after 4 o'clock, I can be available. we don't need to go into a whole lot of detail, but if we're going to make a recommendation to modify the bylaws, I think that we have to have a recommendation and then a second and then a vote. So I'll pass it to the other committee members for their input.
Hi, this is Ben Doyle. I'm new here and I don't know how much is on our plate to have a really informed opinion about how frequently we should meet. But I also would enjoy meeting a little earlier and if model.
Items that aren't really when we meet and in what format. Those two are concerned. I think hybrid is great, and any time is fine with me. Meeting frequency. I think we should. Failure of this committee is that we met so infrequently in the past, and then we think we owe it to the community to. Meeting frequency.
The bylaws specifies the meeting time to be 7 p.m. And it says that the third Wednesday of every month. That is what the bylaw says.
It says 7 to 9 every third Wednesday of every month.
That's correct.
Hi, this is Faith. I would agree with Kent that we should meet monthly. I've been on this committee since its inception way back when. And we got a lot more done when we met monthly. And I understand that, you know, the staff you guys are just running on, you know, a shoestring there and have a lot going on, but maybe we could front load a little bit and meet, you know, for the next few months, get our feet under us again, see what's going on. And then, you know, if we feel we spread it out to every other month, like you requested, Sanjay, maybe we could just, you know, test the waters. I'm okay meeting a little bit earlier. The earliest I could manage it would be 5:30 or 6.
Okay. One of my suggestion is if you want to continue to meet monthly, the third Wednesday is a little tough because we had the meeting yesterday, council meeting. So it takes a lot of our time. So every first and third Tuesday are the council meeting. And when the third Wednesday becomes the TAPS, it's a kind of a tight burden on us. If we can either move that to second or fourth Wednesday, something like that, that would be helpful to us at least.
I second the 6 o'clock thing. That would work perfect for me. But I think if we're supposed to advise the council, maybe our meeting should be prior to their meetings. I don't know how long it takes for what we hear to get digested and transmitted to the council though. So maybe that's a non-issue. Maybe it takes a month to get it to them.
Yeah, I mean, we can, this committee can actually recommend any action that they want the council to take, they can do it in the next council meeting. Say, if you're say today's actions, you can report it to council the next month meeting that comes up. I would say, I think May 3rd. That is when you can go bring it to their attention and action. If we have any recommendation here, that would be usually 2 weeks. It shouldn't be more than that. But the
Sanjay,
bile,
Sanjay, which Wednesday of the month would work best for you and your staff?
2nd or 4th.
And out of those two, do you have a preference, or do any of the other committee members have a preference?
Yeah, this is Kent. I'm Pinole's representative to the Contra Costa Transportation Authority Citizen Advisory Committee, and we meet on.
Okay, so then at this point, Sanjay, can I make a motion that we adjust the TAPS bylaws to show that we'll meet on the 2nd Wednesday of the month? And I'm just going to throw 6 o'clock out there. And we usually had before it was 7 to 9. So I'm going to say 6 to 8, unless we all agree we want to extend the time frame on that.
If I may, you do have a
I
public
second that
comment.
motion.
We have a motion and we have a second.
You do have a
I'm going to
public
roll
comment.
call. I'm going to roll call.
Could we just to confirm, so it'll be second Wednesday hybrid meeting, 6 p.m. That's the motion.
Yeah, well, that's what I said, but you said it much nicer.
No. Got it. Thanks.
There is a public
Okay.
comment hand raised.
Okay, that's okay. We will take the public comment after we make roll call here. We'll take that. Thank you, Dave. Oliver Collins,
Aye.
Doyle.
Aye.
Kent Moriarty,
Aye.
Beth Dunham Sims.
Hi.
Okay, motion passes, and we will recommend to the council to change the bylaw to hold the TAPS meeting on 2nd Wednesday in a hybrid format, starting from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you.
And Sanjay, it's Oliver Collins. Can we just get when are we going to start this? Will it be 3 weeks from now? Or are we going to skip and do 7 weeks from now?
To change the bylaws, I have to bring it to the council. Hope it is going to be a consent item in the May 3rd. So, yeah.
So May 10th then?
Hopefully May 10th we can do this. Yes.
I'm sorry, May 11th.
11th. Yeah. Yeah, 11th.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks. Okay, Dave, have the phone number ending 5748 speak on the.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Folks got ahead of yourself there. The public comment should be voiced before you take the roll call vote. In most cases, that's how they've done it before with the city council and other city council meetings throughout the county. Well, I would like to add my 2 or 3 cents worth, if not 1 cent worth at this time, and you can amend the roll call vote or put an addendum on there. But I number one, that it's done on the 2nd Wednesday rather than the 3rd, because a lot of times in the past, they had to postpone it or put it off. And then when they put it off, they end up putting off the feedback to the city council. And there's a lot going on in our city now. And like you do owe it to the public to get back to them in some kind of a normal, timely fashion, be it every month, or my other suggestion would be if you can't do it every month, you can start off every 6 weeks, or go from every month to 6 weeks. But to skip from a 4 week, monthly to 2 months would be just too far spread apart. So I would like you to consider that 6 week option as either a cancellation enrollment meeting date, and or if you have to change it later to a regular date of every 6 weeks instead of 8 weeks. And also to review the time of the month. I think it's very important that you have the meeting before the city council meeting, because in the past, it's always been 2 or 3 weeks after the council meeting. And by that time, whether you cancel the next meeting or not, it loses its, get what was being said or done, and then it takes the city council to act so long on something. So it's important you get some of these issues up front on the table to the city council meeting as soon as possible, and not wait another month or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks to get something approved and presented by the city council to represent the public in a fair and open, transparent, expeditious way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony.
Can I just respond to that? I don't think that Faith's motion changed the meeting frequency. I think that
Is correct. Okay. Just a second number on this item. The bylaws calls for appointment of a chair and vice chair. As this committee is new, would the committee members would like to appoint a chair and also a vice chair?
Would like to recommend Kent for the chair and Oliver for the vice chair. I've served in both capacities already.
such a wonderful job, and I would hope you were going to.
Hey, it's Oliver. I would support either Kent or Faith as chair, and the other one being the vice chair. Thank you.
Okay. Oliver, any comments?
Yes, sir. Those were my comments. I would support either one on being chair.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Does either Faith or Kent want the job? I think that's an important qualification.
Faith, I know you've been doing it a long time, and you deserve.
Okay, well, I was just trying not to hog all the glory, as they say. Well, I'll step up and remain chair. Would you then feel comfortable as being vice chair?
Sure.
Because it sounded like Oliver, you're not that interested in that. Oliver, is that accurate?
Well, I could be. I just think we're going to get kind of busy during this as we start up again, and I haven't been as long as you and Kent, and I would kind of defer to your expertise. And then maybe next year, whenever we vote again, I would certainly, I think, feel more comfortable stepping up.
Okay, well then, Sanjay, so you need one of us to make a motion?
Yes, please.
All right, well then I'll make a motion that I will remain chair and that Kent will step in as vice chair.
Okay. Second,
It's Oliver. I second that.
thank you. I'm going to roll call. Oliver Collins,
Aye.
Ben Doyle,
Yes.
Ken Moriarty,
Aye.
Pat Dunham Sims.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Pat Dunham Sims being chair and Kent Moriarty becomes the vice chair and for the next 1 year. Also here, there was a mention of a committee member or a staff member to present to the council. I can, as a staff, going through this recordings, I can take the action items or may help a committee member form the action items and report to the council. Is any committee member needs to be present and be part of that to report any actions to the council?
Can I make a comment? I guess in my time on taps, I never made it to council. So I hope that happens more in the future. To pick someone, or can we just take it on a? So that they get to council. Committee decides they need to get to council.
Okay, that's fine. So if a committee member doesn't need to be appointed to present to the council, or it can be decided on a meeting by meeting basis.
That's my thought. I don't know what that.
In the early days, when stuff actually did go to council, those of us who could go, we went. And sometimes one or more of us would speak. And if no one was able, Dean presented it. So I like your idea, Kent. We'll just do it kind of on an as needed basis.
That sounds good and help.
I suggest that it has an owner, and if that person is not available or the most appropriate, that the committee designate someone else. But in the absence of that action, that the sort of owner does it. And I like Kent's passion about it. Maybe it could be you, unless the committee decides someone else for an issue.
So, and if there's one person who a staff member being that person, because of so if we all own that.
Sir, it says committee member to present to council, not staff member. And my concern is that if it's not if someone doesn't own it, that it could fall through the cracks and just not happen. And so that person would at least be responsible if they're not presenting it to the council, that they know who is or who it's delegated to.
Actually, I get it. Person's not so much a bottleneck, they're just a person that
It's Oliver. I have a question about the present to council phrase. Does that, I presume when this bylaws were written, that meant in person at council meetings, but with the technology and email and everything right now, could present to council be like emailing the council before council meeting to bring up stuff, or does present to council mean like actually in person at a council meeting?
I believe you can email to the council and it will be read into the record by the secretary or the city clerk. You can do that.
Okay, if that's the case, then I would volunteer to be that person to present to council either in person or in writing at the direction of the committee.
Usually they would request that most of the text is in such a manner that it can be read within 3 minutes and all that. That's what they would request. That's all I know.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to the next item.
Are we gonna kind of make a motion and do it officially so that? So if so, I'd like to make a motion that Oliver Collins be the responsible for making presentations to council.
I'll second.
I'm going to take roll call. Oliver Collins.
Aye.
Ben Doyle.
Yes.
Ken Moriarty.
Aye.
And Faith Dunham Sims.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item number 5, traffic and pedestrian safety issue submitted by citizens. So I have received several emails from various citizens here. I can just show the emails that I have received from Joel, Michelle, Marilyn, Sharon, Mary, for this location, for this Raphael Street and Pinole Valley Road issue. I believe, as explained by Joel's sketch here, his concerns are that when the vehicle here stays to take a left or right turn, the vehicles parked here are blocking the side, so and they're unable to make the left turn safely. Even though there is this street is 25 miles an hour, most likely there are some speeding traffic and not enough gap between the traffic to get out. And this seems like several members who are nearby lives in the senior community are having a hard time, and they would like this to be resolved. There are some suggestions by Joel saying that only the second car location where that can be red curb. And as far as I see it from an engineering perspective, we may have to red curve if vision is obstruction is an issue. We probably have to take out roughly about 3 cars here, and the way the sight distance works. So this entire 3 spots have to kind of go to be red curve. And there are other suggestions also by Joel, whether it can be a yellow curb, just for loading and unloading. And there are several other residents who have other suggestions like providing a convex mirror and reducing the speed limit on to 15 miles per hour on Pinole Valley Road, and so on and so forth. As far as reducing the speed on Pinole Valley, that is a tall task because it would need an engineering study before we can reduce the speed for that portion of the road. But red curve, it is doable, it can be done. And I just have to revisit the sight distance and determine what is how long a red curve would remove the side distance issue completely. And there has to be a community outreach just to make sure that if these parking lots have been taken away, is there going to be a bigger issue in the community? So these are the few things that has come to my attention. And if the committee would like to discuss and provide a recommendation, then we can take some action.
This has come to us already. And Kent and Oliver, I think you were here then. And I believe there was an issue with the church refusing to allow the spots to be taken. Is that your recollection on that, Kent or Oliver?
I remember it being brought up.
There was, because this came before us and the red curb was suggested and somebody, I thought it was the church, said absolutely not. We also had a police officer involved with this, looking at it, who agreed that this was a really dangerous intersection. And I'm sorry, that's really just half-baked information, but this has come to us and we were unable to get it resolved. I'm trying to think if this is when Officer Rogers wanted to put the those yellow like sticks that go straight up out of the
Yes. Yeah, flexible bollards. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That it was that he wanted to put those in there, and that got shot down too. So all I can say is, and we did a site visit as a committee to go out there. We know how bad it is, but I can't remember the mechanism. But the red spaces were shot down. So Sanjay, maybe you can get to the bottom of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't know the history though. Thank you for bringing that up.
I just had a couple of, one was just a matter of procedure. I appreciate how the senior housing took the effort to provide pictures and a map and that letter. I wish that would have been part of the packet.
Okay. Yeah, I can send those emails. I mean, the emails came in over a period of time. I just compiled them so that it can be, but yes, I should have shared with all the committee members emails.
And just to follow up on Faith's, the same concerns from people. And I think the result was we painted that little short 6-foot section of red that's shown in the inadequate because I live a block away from it. I'm always concerned about having an accident and getting hit. Personal some rules as far as what the sight line should.
Yes.
And I guess those sightline requirements probably aren't met because
not have a like intersection risk assessment and compliance assurance process or model in place?
Well, because this is a 25 mile per hour zone, so and there is a keep clear zone. So the process for this, it seems to be people should be driving at that speed, but that may not be the real case, right? And for this site distance for this particular location, I think it gets aggravated because of the users. If the users are the senior whose reaction times are different than what you would expect from the others, so that's a different component which the engineering really does not do justice to. So it's a slightly different, it has to be seen at a different light in my thought. But if you're looking at the site distance, it is possible that those 3 parking lots have to be eliminated, meaning the vehicle cannot be parked there. I have done a little bit of research before I came to this meeting to see, and it seemed to me that those 3 cars have to go for the site distance to be met per the engineering site triangle diagram.
Hi, it's Oliver. I'm afraid I'm going to have to get off this meeting in about 5 minutes, but I would like to see if we can get to a point where we may, if we're going to take action, but I'd like to hear the public comment, and then I got to probably take off, but yeah, if that's okay. I'm sorry to rush everybody, but I have a prior commitment. Thank you.
Okay. I know that in the public attendee, Joel wanted to talk about it. Would you like him to speak so that he can give his input on this? Joel?
I'm here.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, well, I guess the 3 minutes are starting. My name is Joel Keekley. I live at Pinole Grove Senior Housing. And I have great concerns about that dangerous intersection at the corner there because there's frequent sightline blockage. And oftentimes there's SUVs and trucks with tinted windows, which are parked in the first 2 spots. So there's a great physical and financial harm that awaits any driver inching out to get a view of cars zipping around kind of a curved stretch. So cars parked in the first and second spots reduce slowly emerging cars from Rafaela Street to kind of a sitting duck status. And a simple and cheap solution, I'm going beyond what Sanjay just mentioned, and I think it's long overdue, it would be to just paint off with yellow, white, or green, at least the second spot. I'm not shooting for the moon. I don't need 3 spots, but I have done plenty of studies, and my photographs, I gave you several of them that showed that if the second spot is vacated 15 feet, you have a pretty decent view of what's coming around the corner and it becomes a safe situation. So that actually would help churchgoers coming and going. You could have a yellow, white, or green zone just for a quick temporary pickup, whereas 90% of the time it would be vacant and create finally a safe situation for seniors. And I'm not some old, codger. I've driven 58 years, 0 tickets on my record, never hit anybody. Nobody's ever hit me while I was in motion. So I'm quite qualified to be a safe, law-abiding motorist. And still I approach that intersection with great trepidation almost every day. And, am I going to get T-boned and maimed physically and harmed financially because I'm in the hospital, my car's been trashed? Insurance rates went up because it was his fault. Well, it really wasn't, but that's another matter. So my cheap solution, can of paint, whatever, yellow, white, or green, 15 feet long, provides the sight line needed. I like the Rolling Stones song. Sometimes, you don't get everything you want, but you get what you need. I'd settle for that 1 spot. If you want to make 2 of them, the first 2 blocked off in some fashion with a color of paint, not necessarily red, that's fine too, but I'm trying to get something that's doable. So my photos and diagrams clearly show the nature of the problem and the solution. So, I didn't volunteer to be a crash test dummy. So, and T-boning would likely mean that I have this 14 screws and a titanium plate, my neck scrambled around and possibly paralyzed. So I can do without that. So please do the right thing and make the word safety in your committee title become reality. Thank you very much. 4 seconds to go.
Thank you.
I, for one, I hear our neighbor loud and clear. And I think when a fellow citizen has brought a concern like this to the city, that we owe them as fast as possible of a response to make them feel safe again. But at the same time, I think that there are dozens, if not more, intersections like this around the city. And I wonder if we couldn't get a bunch of birds stoned at the same time by having some kind of a standard policy about what is safe for visibility at an intersection, and correct all of our intersections at once. I realize a thing like that, if it doesn't exist already, I don't know if it does or not, but if it doesn't, by all means, let's address this one where someone's expressed concern right away. But but afterwards, don't we want to have a process and a policy about what an intersection should look like, what a safe intersection is, and try to make that uniformly the case in our city?
Yeah, that's a fair statement. So from engineering perspective, what I can say is that because the Pinole Valley Road is kind of a considered arterial, so that's why you would want to put, as this intersection, in my opinion, it could have served best if we had a 3-way stop sign, meaning you have a stop sign on Raphael, you had a stop sign, 2 stop signs for both directions on Pinole Valley Road. But because the San Pablo Avenue Road intersection is also very close to this intersection, and that is the reason why in the first place it was not a 3-way stop. I believe the San Pablo Avenue intersection is just about 150 feet away from here. And that kind of makes little tighter, because normally you don't want to put so many stop controlled intersections so close. But being said that, this particular portion of Pinole Valley Road, as if it is being a residential street rather than an arterial. So a blanket policy, I would say, probably would not be appropriate, but a general policy, but you give enough room for flexibility, maybe something the committee can discuss and recommend. But eventually, if it does not comply with the traffic laws that has been established in the highway design manuals, so that may not happen, it may not be implemented by the city. Other than that, we could support the committee if the city wants to have a policy for similar situation at other places.
Hey, it's Oliver. I'm afraid I'm going to have to get off the meeting, but I appreciate everyone's comments and the public comment. And hopefully, I think there's still a forum. So if there's a recommendation for action, then you can proceed without me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Oliver.
Are these standards published somewhere for the committee to review?
Yes, those are called California MUTCD, and I believe manual for traffic signs. You know, if you Google it, CAMUTCD, manual for uniform traffic TCD, traffic control devices, and those would address this kind of situations. But yeah, it's a 2-volume, 1,000 pages each. Yeah, I mean, we could help with, just giving you just a few sections where to look at it. But yeah, those are, and also these are also governed by some of the highway design manual, Caltrans highway design manual.
Okay. Well, sorry, go ahead.
Sanjay, are you also a traffic engineer?
Yes.
So then that means then that you can go out and do the sightline measurements. We don't have to, because I know in the past we've always contracted with a traffic engineering firm since there was no one on staff. So we can bypass that and send you out to to do that.
Yes.
And I think it might be a lot to take on to come up with a policy for all the intersections in Pinole. But I wonder if could this committee Sanjay address it?
Yes, I mean, what my thought is that I see this is has been brought up before and has not been resolved yet. And let me go ahead and talk to the property owners there, the church, and see what has been discussed before and what was their resistance about it. And yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they don't have a say on this if we determine to do that. What City of Pinole determines that this is a safer way to do it. So I don't think they have a legal authority to deny that. But without going there, I'm going to find out because they do have parking spaces on the other side of the building. I have checked that. So, let me just discuss with them and come back. If there is a solution, then I will propose that.
Sounds good. Yeah, and I agree that we address our neighbors' concern of this intersection without waiting for some kind of more universal policy or anything. I mean, if this is a clear and present hazard to one of our neighbors, let's take care of it. Let's find a solution.
Just by way of a little bit of background, the TAPS committee has always been, I guess you would say we've always been more reactive than proactive. So something would come to us, we would discuss it, try to figure out a solution, have whatever testing needs to be done, reports written, come up with solutions and present it to council. We've never been tasked with the job of like going out in search of, all of the traffic and pedestrian safety issues out there. I mean, that's a really huge job, but we have always just tackled them, as they've come into us. And over the years, we have been successful in having some really positive impact to us. I can't see how we would work with like just a global policy like you had described, Ben. I mean, it sounds awesome, but we're also up against the issue of money and staff time and all the cogs and the wheels of government and so forth. I think it's a huge boon that Sanjay, that you're a traffic engineer. I think that puts us well ahead of the game compared to where we were in the past. So I'm super stoked that you can go out in that capacity.
Okay, so should the committee just recommend that the staff should go and verify with the property owners and come back to the committee with a solution?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Just to be clear on the motion, are we what property owner are we verifying with, and what are we verifying?
My suggestion was that I check with the church property and adjacent property owners around that area to see verify their concerns, why, if the parking was adequate or if they have a concern, and why it was didn't happen last time, just to understand a little more from the other members of the community.
And could I move that a part of that question also be the determination of whether or not taking that 10 extra feet or so as a place of either no parking or short-term parking would the intersection safer? So a verification that that is the solution, and is it included in this action?
Yeah, one of the committee members could actually make the motion, state the motion, and that would be fine. Yes. It's okay.
Okay, consider it stated.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to do the roll call. Oliver Collins is absent. Ben Doyle,
Yes.
Kent Moriarty,
Aye.
John Sims.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. In the interest of time, I'm just going to go through the next ones a little faster. Are you able to see my screen? Okay. There have been some citizen complaints about some of the pedestrian and vehicle prioritization turning movements to San Pablo. That is from Pinole Valley Road to San Pablo. It seems like as if the traffic lights are not timed appropriately. And so that's one of the complaints that I got to verify that. So just from one of the previous council members. Next, there are two more requests or two more complaints. That is about Wright Avenue and Carroll. This is where the traffic, the southbound, I believe this is south. The southbound traffic does not stop, even if the stop sign is there. They do not stop here, and they just, keep going, and that has been a concern, and they requested some action, some kind of a traffic calming or a speed bump, something to be done here. Same issue at Wright Avenue and Dodge Avenue. Traffic from southbound does not stop here, and people have complained that when they try to cross the roads, this traffic apparently does not stop. So request for a speed bump or some kind of a traffic calming solutions here. One of the residents here have provided me with the video of cars and other vehicles just not stopping, not even rolling stop, they just pass. And so seems to be a real problem. And I will be working internally with the staff to come up with some solutions. Once I have a solution, I can bring it to TAP's committee. Our staff's committee can suggest something. And there have been interest from the council to do a pilot project for these kind of traffic issues. And, we could suggest something like this kind of locations for the pilot projects.
Sanjay, I'm about 99% sure when the committee first formed, we did a traffic calming document that we used when people came to the meeting, because everybody wants you to put speed bumps in. And there was a process that we followed, and it was a traffic calming protocol, I believe.
Yes, I did see the document. That is a traffic calming policy document, and it requires, I believe, a segment of the neighborhoods to sign a form, a petition for these kind of speed bumps or traffic calming devices to be put on the road, and then the city would take some action based on that. So yes, I did take a look at that. There is a form and a traffic calming policy handbook. So this is a concern that we have received for Pinole Valley Road, which is speeding concerns. That's between Sierra Drive and Simas Avenue. The stop signs at Sierra has been removed and traffic signals have been installed during the 2020, I believe, when the high school was built. And the residents along Pinole Valley Road, they seems to feel because of the traffic speed, this is more noisier. Even if it is 35 miles an hour, they're requesting to reduce the speed to 25. The reduction of speed is a bigger issue than we think. That I can explain at a later date. But here are some of the things what the citizens have submitted. The traffic light at Sierra Drive to be timed to turn to red at intervals, or speed bumps, but speed bumps on a big arterial is a big no-no, and that's at 35 miles an hour current speed limit. That could launch the cars. But for this particular road, we have to have a engineering study because it seems like there's a four-way road, and we are actually working on a couple of projects that could help this situation for bike and pedestrian access. So this could be discussed, in a future meeting. I couldn't provide all these details to the committee before, and I understand that part. We can bring these items again next time, just so that the committee can discuss and give some direction to us.
Sanjay, I'm just going to I'm sorry to just keep throwing some historical background.
I need it.
This is a case of you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because when we went through the whole rigmarole of when they were building the high school and the proposal of putting all these extra signals in, everyone blew a gasket. They were just like, are you kidding me? You're asking me to stop again. And so the promise was they would all be timed, right? So that you could just sail through, provided there wasn't, actualized cross traffic. And so now they're all saying, well, we don't want you sailing through, right? So good luck to all of us. God bless us, everyone, trying to, figure that out. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Thank you. There was a request for the same speed bumps at Norville Avenue, which is from Appian Way to Meadow Park. There was some request for the double left turn lane in the I-80 southbound on Pinole Valley Road. I think there is the visibility of striping and signage. There is some lighting issues at the bridge. I believe it was been brought up by others to under the bridge at Pinole Valley Road. Most likely those are all request coordination with Caltrans. Those lights are probably not working right now. And we have already informed that to Caltrans, but we don't have a definite date for them to repair those yet. But yes. Okay. Item number 6, staff update. Would you like any of the item number 5 to be discussed further and give direction?
What is your intent with those items, Sanjay? Were you going to investigate, or how were we going to proceed with them? What did you have in mind?
Well, some of those items which I believe I can investigate a little more and come up with a solution. Once I have it, I would like to bring it to TAP's discussion. And then if the TAPS sends a recommendation to the council, we can come up with the funds to implement it. So just this is just the collection of all the complaints that I have received, and I just wanted to put to you so that you have a knowledge of what's on my plate. And once I have a recommendation or just a solution, what I think, what are the options we have, I can bring it back to the TAPS committee again. And once you can look at the options and tell us that, okay, we move in this direction, and then we recommend to the council.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd move that all of the ones where you have recommendations you bring to us for the next meeting that you have ready, and that the full list of these with whatever details you have are sent to all of us to review in the meantime.
Okay. I will send out this PowerPoint and all the emails I have received so that you have the full background of this discussion.
Thanks.
Sanjay, in the past, we always had a Pinole police officer sitting on the committee with us, and I know they're stretched to their limits as well. Is there plans for them to attend when they're able?
Yes, they're supposed to show up today, but Justin, I don't know, he was supposed to be here today, but he's not. Justin Rogers, he was asked to join the meeting today, but apparently it seems he was unable to.
Yeah, and Faith, I met with the group of police. They were holding a public hearing for traffic issues a couple of weeks ago. And they expressed a continued interest in having a member attend these meetings, but weren't aware of when the next meeting would be.
No, I had spoken to actually Justin personally, and I had given those details. Apparently, somehow he's unable to attend today. But yes, the meetings have been posted in our website and their internal department. So we do send them all these invites, and also they are aware of. So it must be there's something going on. That's why he's not here. Am I okay to move ahead to the next item?
Yes.
So this is a staff updates for the couple of projects that we are doing right now. This project, I believe, been in the pipeline for a while. This APN Marlesta Road Intersection Safety Project. The new traffic signal will be installed at this location. Right now, the final design is in progress. We have submitted our request for authorization to Caltrans for funding. We expect this authorization by Caltrans will be completed by end of May, this 2022. And once that happens, we will finalize our plans, and the bid packet will be ready by end of June. And we should be bidding the project by then. Expect completion around August, September. There could be a delay just because of the procurement for the actual mast arms and all that. But otherwise, if it is available, it could go pretty fast.
This is awesome. We've been waiting for this for a long time. So this is super exciting that it's in 2022 that it's gonna be happening. Thank you for this really nice update, how you have it all spelled out of what's going on. It's really helpful to see all that. I know there's far more moving pieces to it than, it would seem.
Yes, it does. Thank you. We are also in the final phases of the local road safety plan, which we have completed a field review memo and also provided the countermeasure toolbox. City staff is currently vetting all the identified projects. In that memo, the consultant has prepared that memo, and they will be coming down to the field to actually, for a few locations, to complete their field review for those locations, because we want to submit 3 HSIP grant applications, and our worst 3 locations where we want to do these improvements. So those are the locations we want our consultant to come by and do the field review and provide the solution for that. And once we finalize the local road safety plan, it will be posted in the city website when the council adopts it, adopts the plan itself.
I guess the public is. Then it's going to be out there for the public.
Yes, it will be agendized, and the plan itself, the draft plan is not ready yet. It is just the field review memo wherever our high injury intersection that is completed, and that's what we are waiting through. Once that is done, we will finalize the plan, and the draft plan will be posted online. Okay. And if there are any comments, we may revise the plan to make it final. Once that happens, then we'll bring it to council for adoption of the final plan.
Okay. It's the expectation was that this committee was
No, I don't think it is too late. I mean, because the plan is not completed yet, once the plan is in the draft format, you can ask the staff to bring it to this committee, that this committee can discuss the plan. And if they have any recommendation or revisions, we're happy to do that. I don't see a problem there.
that'd be great. Can we do that?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, make a motion, and I will bring the LRSP to the TAPS committee for review, the draft plan for review.
Yeah, I
Second,
Yeah, I'll have a roll call. Oliver Collins, absent. Ben Doyle,
Yes.
Ken Moriarty,
yep,
Ed Dunham Sims.
aye.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on. This is just an announcement and from the countywide transportation plan and action plan that we just wanted to bring it to this committee's notice. And the county has a plan for tomorrow's transportation. They're actually working on all the jurisdictions, local jurisdictions, regional transportation planning committees to update several their transportation planning documents. We would encourage our committee to actually go ahead and provide their inputs at these locations. They have a survey and they do have in their website, they have the details of there's the countywide transportation plan. And you could just speak to transportation in Pinole and that would be fine too. Doesn't have to be everywhere in the county. But this, if the committee members actually go and other citizens of Pinole go and provide their input, this planning document would capture those comments and those are very helpful for us when we go and apply for grants going forward. So I would encourage you to go and provide your inputs at this transportation plan and action plan activity. Item number 7, future agenda items. Does the committee member have any request for future agenda?
but it feels like there's things out there and we don't want to lose the staff updates, maybe.
Okay,
A couple of things that Irma Rupert brought up during the
okay,
I think that's been approved by the planning commission, so maybe trips a day, and so at least something that you brought up in this.
okay.
The station plan, which is supposed to follow on the heels of the local road safety. And this visibility of grant. So I guess I'm just asking that those things just as
Okay, not a problem. I would keep those items under the staff updates. I would note that. So if there are no future agenda items, can we move forward?
Know what the right place to introduce it would be, but just in case this is where it is, I think that the Appian Way Bridge over the freeway, you know, with all of its damage, when it is repaired, it should be done with an eye to bicycle and wheelchair and pedestrian accessibility. I think at least a wheelchair and a bicycle should be able to pass by each other in opposite directions, even if the biker has to get off and walk, but without going into the street and into traffic. Is this the kind of place where we would introduce a thing like that?
I mean, what would you like staff to do? You would like the staff to take a look at the condition and come back to you, or you would like to really the city to, you want to recommend action to the city to investigate and provide accessibility on that road so that we can bring it to the council and council make a determination or provide funds to do this improvements there, right?
Well, I imagine that that's not just a city bridge, and that at some point Caltrans or somebody else will have a proposal for reparation and or replacement of the bridge, and just that some of the city's needs as far as pedestrian and bicycle transportation be taken into account when they make a plan for any repairs or replacement?
Yes. Yes, I mean, as far as I understand, if I'm understanding the bridge location, you are saying the Appian Way over I-80. That is Caltrans right of way and Caltrans bridge. So if Caltrans ever going to make the bridge widened, then definitely they will have to have, because of the ADA laws, they have to provide adequate access for the bike and ped, and also because of the active transportation measures and the complete streets laws, they have to provide that if they would do it. And but yes, and city also will get an opportunity to comment on those whenever the design or whenever they want to upgrade those bridges. We would have an opportunity to comment on those.
Okay.
Sanjay, we used to have a little section at the very end. I think we called it committee member reports or something, but I'll take it now that future agenda items. I just wanted to make a report. You may already be aware of this, but a big truck or something smashed the signal face at Appian and Terra Hills in front of the eye laser surgery place. The signal face should be facing Appian, gosh, and I don't even know which direction if you're going towards Fitzgerald, and it now faces Canyon Drive and it's all scrunched up.
I see. Okay, I will take a note of that, and I will add that item to my list, that committee member reports. I may have missed it. Sorry about that.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't really matter in the great scheme of things. It just, if item number 7 is the end, then we can just throw it in there. Sorry to put another thing on your plate, but it looks like it really got mangled really good.
No problem.
There is a public comment hand raised.
Okay. Let's see that. Yes, please go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I was wanting to comment on the future agenda items. I know I submitted a written request on the letter for item 5 somewhat later this afternoon, but I didn't realize it wasn't either going to be read, presented, or discussed in tonight's meeting. So I would just like to request my 3 items that I presented in writing to you, Director, for item 5 to be agendized on future agendized items since it wasn't discussed or presented or read, or at least give the opening line for those 3 items, or I can, to be considered as a future agenda item tonight, so we don't have to wait another 2 months to hear this. Because I think those 3 items that I put on the dais tonight in writing to you are important, and we don't want them to go on a wait list for two more months besides a few other things. But can you respond to that, please?
Give me a second. Did you say you sent to me? I did not seem to have received. Is it Anthony?
The caller's using a telephone to connect and it appears he's dropped the call.
I see, drop the call. Okay. Okay, no, I haven't received the emails, but I know he spoke during the meeting regarding the polls, and I believe I answered that and the green lanterns and all. But anyway, I'll reach out to him. Yeah, I don't see I've received any email from him. So, okay. So that's item 7. Item 8 is adjournment for the next meeting. I believe we're talking about second Wednesday of each month. So that would be I think I have to bring it to the council on 3rd. So the next would be May 11th. That should be May 11th. Today is 20th. Okay. Okay. I think I can make it to the May 3rd council meeting for the bylaws to be amended. And I will try that we can schedule our meeting for May 11th for the next round. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. If there is nothing else, we can adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, Sanjay, very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good meeting. Great to start.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
And Faith and Kent, please don't spare any history lessons. I appreciate them. And Sanjay, thank you very much for facilitating.
Yes, no problem. I need all the history, please. Let me know.
And welcome, Ben. I think we got to
you.
welcome you. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.